everyone. It's the Tripping Out Bricks podcast. We are back. It's winter quarter, and we're here with a very special guest, Takia, who's the president of the Black Student Union on campus. I don't know. I'll introduce myself. My name's Abby. I'm one of the co-hosts, and we've got...
I'm Tim. I'm one of the co-hosts.
We've got Tim. And then we've got Takia.
I'm Takia. I'm not one of the co-hosts.
And we're doing a new segment now that we ask people their hot takes to warm up for the podcast. So I think, of course, the guest goes first. We need to hear your hot take.
I feel like I have to preface this hot take
Okay.
with information. So the other day, my roommate showed me a TikTok, and it was about this person, and they were using mayonnaise. Yes, mayonnaise is a condiment. But I would say my hot take is it belongs on sandwiches, but only sandwiches. But this person was using it they put it on spaghetti.
Whoa.
Put it in their ramen. It was that's not.
That's not.
So I was saying my hot take is let's leave mayonnaise to sandwiches.
That's a take. Wait, do you...
I agree.
What have you had Kewpie mayo before?
See, okay, I could see that in ramen.
Yeah, or sushi, because I'm sushi, right? Is that, I think that goes on
feel
sushi.
that would go.
Or some, I don't know.
Is it spicy mayo?
I think it's some kind of Asian mayo that's really good.
I feel that would
That
hit
sounds
on
good.
a Seattle dog.
Oh,
That sounds so good.
We've been on about Seattle dogs.
It looks so good.
But mayonnaise, I would agree with that. Because
Mayonnaise
I can't
dogs.
think of anything else besides a sandwich that someone would put mayo.
Yeah.
Are they
I guess
not on
it's not
Seattle dogs? Wait, no, that's cream cheese.
Yeah,
Cream
they put
cheese.
cream
The other
cheese.
white thing, I don't know.
I guess it's not really a hot take, but I was I just been thinking about that.
Yeah.
Like,
No, that's a good one.
Get it off your chest.
Yeah.
Literally.
it can
And there's,
be, that can be, we
Yeah.
can hyphenate this.
Yeah.
and the pictures were scary. I was like, oh.
My hot take is also a food take, but I'm so scared to hear people's reactions for this. Okay, so my hot take is I really like soggy cereal.
Oh, no, okay.
Wait, okay, you really?
Yeah, I'm
okay,
here.
No,
I'm
no,
with you.
okay, so I don't really like cereal that much, but the Special K, have you guys had the Special K?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's I wait until it gets really soggy, and I think it tastes better.
Wait,
It's not, what?
which Special K, though?
The one with the strawberries.
Oh, you're
Yeah,
valid
yeah.
for that.
Okay, thanks.
That's
No,
the one cereal.
every
I feel like that's
yeah.
worse to say out loud than it is in practice. Because no one's just eating completely dry cereal.
Exactly.
Right.
Everyone likes the milk
People
a little
like the
bit.
crispy, or not crispy, but
The crunchy.
crunchy, yeah.
Not me.
And I love soggy cereal.
I do too.
I
do
like
too.
the Honey Nut Cheerios too.
Yeah.
And I feel
Oh, yeah.
with the Special K, it just absorbs the milk, and the flavor is
No,
just
literally.
so good, bro.
Yeah, it's like by the end, it's like strawberry milk.
Mm-hmm. A
Anyway,
delicacy.
That's
Oh, man.
Thank you for appreciating that, because everyone that I've talked, literally everyone, they're like, that's disgusting.
They're wrong.
That's actually
Don't let them
disgusting.
lie to
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Don't
Okay.
let them lie to you.
Thanks.
What is my hot take? Do I have a hot take? Yes, I do. Let's see.
While you're thinking, I forgot to mention that I don't know if the setup will continue, but this is the setup for today's podcast. And
We're so cozy.
it's awesome. Yeah, it's very, I said this already, but
plush.
between two ferns, we got our little plant. It's real, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
I have one. It's football related, so pause or mute the podcast if you're not interested. But Super Bowl this year, not worth watching.
Ooh, see, that is.
Super Bowl, not interested.
Taylor Swift
I'm
fan?
interested in
No, I was going to say, no, literally. Yeah, yeah.
I'm interested in Usher, the halftime show, and
Oh.
that's it. And I love me some football.
Is Usher the only one doing it, or who else is a part of
I
it?
think
Or
it's
is it
just Usher.
him?
Or no,
Dang.
there's got to be more people.
Yeah.
There's got more people. I only know of Usher, though.
Gotcha. Is it? I know it's the Chiefs, and then who else is
Chiefs
it?
and the 49ers,
Okay.
and I'm bored. I'm
Yeah.
bored by it. I'm sick of seeing their red jerseys
Yeah.
around.
Okay, here's my other hot take. Sorry to the Taylor Swift fans out there.
There's one off camera. And one
There
right
is.
here. Hello.
Oh, okay. Well, it's not really a hot take. I'm I don't care about their relationship. You know,
Yeah.
I don't.
Ooh, I do.
You do? Because the
so
other day
cute.
I saw everyone on Instagram post the photos from whatever game, and then she was like, they're so happy. I'm I don't care. I don't know them. I don't know.
I don't know. I hate that how much they talk about
Yes,
that.
yeah, that's
Fair.
the thing.
I feel like
okay,
I like
whatever.
it more because I don't know them.
Oh,
If
so
I
it's
knew them and they were doing all this
Yeah.
stuff and there was that much attention being paid, I'd be like, ow. Ugh. It's move on. But since I don't know them and they're just this little fairy tale that exists,
Oh,
pop
I
star,
see.
football player,
Right.
they're I'm oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's High School Musical.
Exactly.
But it's
Exactly. They're doing real life High School Musical.
I'm surprised they didn't have her play the Super Bowl.
Okay, wait. Another Super Bowl related hot take, which is really just a prediction and a prop bet if you can find it. Except I don't condone that. Chiefs win. Travis Kelce wins the Super Bowl MVP, and then in the post game, he proposes to Taylor Swift.
Wait, how long have they been dating
I feel like
for?
they've been
I don't
dating,
care.
Like,
Yeah.
I
just
don't
wanna
care.
see it.
You're
I
gunning
don't
for
care.
that?
Yeah, they
Wow.
can stay engaged forever
Right.
and never get married, but he's gonna get on one knee and he's gonna have like a ring in his sock.
You know, that would
so
be
insane.
an actual like iconic moment. Not like iconic, but like it will be.
It would be.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have to tune
There's like
in
the confetti.
just for that.
Exactly. The trophy. He could have the trophy in one hand, the ring in the other hand.
He's like, hey, so I
He's
know
like,
I just won.
choose you. I don't choose football.
Retires.
No, that's at least.
And then he retires.
That'd be
It's a fairy
insane.
tale.
I will say, I did not know who any of the. I did not know who that was until Taylor Swift.
That's fair.
Even though
He's
like he
just-
was really big in football.
Yeah,
but
but he's like a tight end. Doesn't matter.
oh, I have
I mean,
no
he's really
idea
good, but whatever.
Yeah.
Oh.
I've seen his little highlights. They're cute, but I just like his dancing. I like his
Yeah.
dances.
He's so surprisingly coordinated. I'm just like, oh.
And he's funny in commercials.
Yeah.
Is he really?
Yeah.
I'm just like, I don't know. I'm just like football guy.
Since
Whatever.
he started dating Taylor Swift, he's like dominated every commercial break during football games.
Oh, of course.
He
I'm
is,
sure.
He is
Of course.
everywhere.
This podcast has just turned into a Taylor Swift Travis Kelce.
I'm like,
Hey.
who else would we
Numbers.
On
talk
the
about?
podcast, exactly.
The people want to
people.
hear it.
And
Want to hear our opinions about it.
Speaking of people, I'm a god at transitions. This podcast is specifically catered towards Black History Month and wanted to talk about the theme. So, to get started, podcast. So this year's Black History Month theme is Back to Black, a legacy of art. And I'll read the little blurb that Western sent out. And obviously, if you want to, like, explain more, because I'm like, I don't know if this, like, explains it very well or not. I don't know. That says, this year's theme of Back to Black, a legacy of art, honors the creativity and beauty that members of the Black community have contributed to our world. We explore how we can show up as our authentic selves, embody art, and encourage allies to create spaces where Blackness is not only centered, but uplifted. Allies, we invite you into the community to learn what it means to be anti-racist and what your role and responsibility is in creating safer spaces for Black communities to thrive. We hope that you take the time to explore, reflect, understand, and celebrate the Black experience in the array of offerings during this month-long celebration. And there's a little bit more of like a blurb, but I just don't want to read the entire thing. But yeah, I guess kind of starting off, what does this year's theme mean to you? In comparison to last year even too, because I know we did this last year as well.
We did do
Yes,
this last
yeah.
year.
Could we do you remember what last year's theme was?
Damn. That's a good question.
Full year
that's-
ago now,
hold
but
on.
I'm just curious.
Yeah, I'm like, maybe a quick.
Yeah.
Google
Oh my god.
search.
Okay. Right, because you weren't here. 'Cause
I
you
was
were in
out of
Senegal
the
Hall.
continent,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Okay. Oh, is it unapologetically Black? Was that the?
Oh yeah, that was
Was that the
our,
theme?
the
Or was that
BSC
just the-
theme.
Oh, okay.
But I think our theme, like for Black History Month,
Mm-hmm.
was like, I want to say Black Resistance.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Don't quote me on that.
Either way.
Yeah, but I don't remember what the question was.
So no, you're good. Like in terms of maybe like you can talk about this year's theme for you, and then also maybe even in comparison to last year, because I wonder how those two are kind of different and what it kind of means in terms of. I did not phrase that question well, but yeah, the comparison between the two and why maybe this year's theme is this year's theme.
So unapologetically Black was just like, in my opinion, I think it was just being able to like take up space and feel comfortable doing so, because in being like on a PWI, as we talked a little bit about last year, like it's very important to kind of, do the things you want to do and not let the fact that like we are like a minority individual on this campus affect like how we move about and kind of assert ourselves and show up and kind of exist. But I would say that this year's theme, which because Black is an acronym, actually it stands for building legacies and communities of kinship. And my boss, she actually came up with that. And I think the reason that that's kind of the theme for us for this year is we want to focus a lot on just like creating a space at Western where, Black students can kind of feel like they have their family outside of like their, actual like family, and just have a space where, you can see people that look like you, and like have events where you can see people that, are literally exactly like you, and just, have a chance to just be and exist and build community, because community building is like, it's really important. And I feel like it's really hard, especially on Western's campus sometimes when you're first coming in,
Right.
especially like for, I don't know if you were the class of 2020,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
but like graduating high school and then going straight into college, like in a pandemic, like, and then for a lot of people that like
Right.
had multiple years of high school in a pandemic and are coming to Western, community building is like pretty hard. So just putting more of a focus on that and allowing people just a space to kind of like get to know people.
And then I remember you talked about this last year, how, because you found a big part of your community within like the BSU and the BSC, right? Like when you first got here.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't think, honestly, I would have, like, any of the friends I have today if it wasn't for, like, BSU and, like, hanging out within the BSC, honestly.
And that's a good transition too. Well, I guess you can also, if you wanted to explain kind of what y'all do, because I know we did it last year. I'm like, all right, people know this, but they might not. So like, before I ask you the other question, can you explain to people who might not know what the BSC and the BSU is?
So it's an important distinction. I know it's, like, really confusing because, like, very similar little acronyms, but BSU is Black Student Union, and then Black Student Coalition, which is the BSC. That's like the physical space for Black students, which is VU 504. And so Black Student Union, what we do is like cater to like all Black students within the diaspora, and just like if you're Black Student Union is for you. And then same with the Black Student Coalition, like it's really for like everybody. But it's all inclusive too, like it's for everybody type of thing. But it centers like African American individuals. But yeah, that's kind of like a distinction between the two.
Yeah, and then you're the president of the BSU.
Yes.
And then do you have a title within the BSC? I wasn't completely sure. Okay.
So currently, well, we used to all just go by like development specialist because we were still like in the building process of everything. But now, got a cute little upgrade to this position. It's still like the same type of work, just like a little bit more of a specific title. So now I'm the marketing and communications director.
Awesome. Yeah, and you did get a promotion from the last year's podcast because you were the public relations, right? And now you're the president.
Yeah.
So.
Hey.
Look at me, we up.
Yeah, we up. No, I think that's a good thing because I kind of to get like into the questions that I have for this podcast. I know on Thursday I'll be taking photos for like the BSC and the BSU or is it just like open to mostly it's like Throwback Thursday or something. And the way like when I think about this year's theme, and we'll kind of go into this, but like the questions is it being more personable to the individual itself. So that was not a good transition at all. But like I wanted to ask you different questions about things that regarded to the theme of this year. So kind of starting off, what art inspires you in your day-to-day life, and like what is your legacy of art?
So I'll answer the first question or the second question first. Because I was when I was like reading over these questions, I was like, like what?
Yeah.
What is my legacy of art on this campus? I would definitely say, like if we're talking about like physical art, I was like really like blessed enough to be able to design like our current logo for BSU, which was like, and our last logo too, but it was like nice to kind of like have that sort of impact because like, I mean, I don't know like how long the logo will be in place because Lord knows like maybe the next board is like, we actually hate this logo so much. Let's change
as
it.
soon as you leave.
Literally. But like, I feel like that's kind of like a unique thing to be able to do. And like, I don't know, it's like, it sounds a little cheesy, like, oh, the logo, okay. But like, I don't know, it kind of just holds a lot of importance to me to just like have been able to kind of leave a mark in that way. And then also the TikToks that BSU has been making.
I've seen them. They're so good.
Thank you.
And those will live forever.
Yeah. No, literally, I'm like, unless someone archives them, but like, please don't. They're like so funny.
I'll screen record all of them.
No, like,
I'll post them somewhere.
I need to like keep those in like a backlog. So I guess like these are
You
my
mean for the
college
files?
memories.
Your
No,
college
literally,
memories,
I'm gonna
yeah.
show my kids those TikToks and be like, this was me in college. Yeah. But the first question was like, what art inspires me? I'd have to say music, but also like going to concerts and like I feel like physically like being like getting especially like house shows and stuff in Bellingham and like getting to see especially like there's this one band called Actress, so good, and predominantly like POC, and it's just like so cool to like see them doing their thing. And I say that for like all POC artists, honestly. Like I got to see this artist I really really love, and it's honestly been like my favorite concert. This is like my year of like just trying to, I'm like, you know what, money, it'll come back, like let me just go to a concert.
I'm in the same space, I think.
But I got to see this artist named Mariba, so good.
Ooh.
And live, I almost ascended. It was so good. But yeah, definitely music is like very important to me in my like day to day. Like you will always see me with at least one AirPod in.
Oh yeah. We know you, DJ.
Oh, I guess, yeah. I do be doing
You
that.
started doing that.
I did.
Yeah. And I know that you also have your other brand, right? Real Shit
Yes.
Collective. I don't know
Yeah.
if you want to talk about that.
No, that's another, I mean, I'm not, like, physically, well, I guess, like, in a sense, like, kind of leaving that kind of mark on, like, Western and on the campus. But, like, I feel like in terms of, like, leaving my mark artistically in Bellingham as a whole, that's definitely been, like, something that I've been, like, it's been so exciting, honestly, because concert photography especially is, like, my favorite form of, like, photography, because, like I said, just love music. But, like, it's just so dope to, like, see people doing their thing and, like, to be able to show them, like, look, this is what you look like at your, like, when you're in the zone, like, you're locked in. And, yeah, I think my business is definitely, hopefully I get to build it more into some cooler things, but definitely artistically is a huge way I kind of like to leave an impact.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I really like about Bellingham in general. It's very creative. Like, I mean, I know that we're all class of 2020, but it's really awesome to see, like, no one's going to judge you for trying to do stuff that you want to do, you know? And that's really nice. Like, we have the space here, especially for, like, I mean, even though, like, Bellingham is a very predominantly white area, right? But, like, I think it tries to do a really good job at uplifting its POC community, especially in music. Like, I like seeing the diversity there, and, like, I mean, you guys are both from Seattle. I'm not, but I didn't realize how big, like, the Seattle music scene is, and then it's, like, slowly drifted north into Bellingham.
Yeah.
So
it's
that's
even,
pretty cool.
like, there's this group, this person I knew in high school, they started a band with some people in Seattle, and they literally came all the way up to Bellingham and had a show. So I'm like, the Seattle scene is definitely, it's making its way up here.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
It's kind of like a bounce back and forth sometimes too. It's like people start a band in Seattle, go to Bellingham, and like play for 4 years in college, and then move back down, and then it's just like back and forth. And like everyone, when they move back down to Seattle, everyone they know is back in Bellingham, so they're just like up every weekend. It's cool to see, honestly.
For sure.
It's like a little home away from home.
That is true. That is interesting. Maybe it's just Bellingham. Yeah, it's a Bellingham.
They love it.
Tell them.
Also, I have, like, the screen. I've got these questions. I don't know if you could see it or not, but
Kinda.
I feel like I said this horribly when I was trying to explain why I'm asking these questions, but, like, my purpose in asking these specific questions were specific to the theme of this year, which is, like, being your authentic self, right? And, like, being, I don't know, just honing in on that side. And so just, like, asking people that, and then I'll be doing that this coming Thursday, but this podcast probably won't be out until after, so that doesn't matter, but that's I hope that makes more sense. Yeah.
Is there a chance for longer answers too, I think?
Yeah, that is true. And that's funny because one of the questions I have here is, like, music artists you want to plug, and you just kind of did that on your own, so that's perfect. But yeah, no, making these questions, I was like, that's a thinker. So the next question is, how do you live as your authentic self, or what ways do you try to live as your authentic self every day?
I think an important thing for me, like, I used to be, like, I would say, like, an intense people pleaser. Like, I would kind of just, like, go along with things. And then I feel like at a certain point last year, I kind of had this realization of, like, why? Like, why am I not just doing what I want to do? And I feel like that definitely hit, like, when I started my business, for sure, because I think it was, like, so one of the M months. Like, I think, literally this year. That's crazy. Or last year. LOL. But yeah, it was like March or May or something like that, and I was just like, bro, there's so much stuff that I've been, like, talking about doing and wanting to do and not doing it because I'm, like, scared that, like, people will judge me or, like, just be weird about it. And I feel like once I hit that kind of, like, click point, it was just like a why not thing. Like, why am I not doing this? Or, like, why do I not want to do that? When it's like, there's so, like, life is so short, like, you might as well live authentically and do what you want to do, as opposed to, like living a life of regret is, like, I would say one of my top fears. Like, I don't want to be old and be like, oh my God, like, I wish I did that. Literally. That's crazy.
That's been 2024 for me. I'm like, I'm going to make decisions.
Exactly.
Well, I don't know if they're good or bad.
but they're going to be made.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? At the end of the day, no regrets.
Exactly.
No regrets at all.
As long as you make it.
Exactly.
Yeah, easy. I wrote this. What steps you take in your everyday life to live as authentically as you can? But you kind of just also answer that. These questions are kind of all over the place, but it's fine.
You're good.
They're amazing.
Yeah, thanks. But then, okay, the next question is, in terms of, like, this year's theme, right? And I think we talked about this in last year's podcast, but, like, what does Black culture mean to you?
I feel like that's such, like, a, like, Black culture is everything. And, like, I don't know if we talked about this last year or not, but I feel like Black culture has expanded a lot into just like culture, because I feel like obviously there's a lot of like appropriation and stuff that happens like in media. So I feel like there's definitely like a blurred line between Black culture and like just like, I don't know, it gets a little confusing, but I think Black culture is definitely like a huge staple, and a huge way to kind of like find like-mindedness with people, and also just get to explore like Blackness, because I feel like a lot of people may not grow up in a space where they are like, they feel safe to explore like their Black identity or like mixed identity or whatever that might be. So Blackness is just like, it's like a warm hug. It's just like, oh, like there are people out there that are like me and are into the same things, and like no matter how niche it is, like I don't know, it's just nice to always have that in the back of my mind. Like, damn, there's a whole culture based around like things I'm into. Like that's just so cool to me.
Yeah, and then I mean I know we talked about like local music artists, but that reminded me a lot again, like with this theme. It's like the way I read up on this, and correct me if I'm wrong, that it's like showing the dissemination of culture and like the legacy of like Black individuals through just life, right? And you kind of hinted at that. So is there any people that you're like that really inspire you, whether it be like music artists or just celebrities or, you know, yeah, famous people, or even people in your daily life, or people at Western as well?
Yeah, I would say definitely my friends, I would say, because the people I'm friends with now are like definitely people I would say like you are so comfortable like being in your Blackness and like just being in any space really, and just being who you are irregardless of like, oh, this might be like too Black or this might be too this, like just showing up how like authentically, like we were talking about earlier. And then also too, I know I said this last year, but I always have to say it, my aunt is like a very, very big kind of like, I don't want to say idol because that seems kind of like intimidating, but like she's definitely someone I look up to in the sense that she's just a Black woman that has literally done everything that she's talked about doing, and like that's just so awesome to me, because like again, that's something I'm practicing at my young age, and to see someone like older that has literally done everything that they wanted to do in life is like so inspiring, because it's like really shows that kind of like why not thing, like why not go after what you want when it's, even if it's not easily obtainable, but like you could just do it. Like
Yeah, that's really cool. I think that even goes into the next one of the questions that I written down of like, how do you celebrate being Black, right? Because I feel like, I mean, for a lot of POC, it's always trying to show the like hardships of it, which is like, you know, that is a part of it, but it's also like, why don't we celebrate the good things that also come with that too? So in what ways do you celebrate being Black and, you know, having that culture around you?
I think definitely in terms of like celebrating being Black, it comes in like so many different like forms. Like I don't know, I feel like growing up, like it was just not like kind of like in a tunnel vision sense of like, oh, I can only celebrate Black culture like this way, or like I feel like for some people like it's like, oh, I can only kind of like talk about Black culture if I'm like talking about the trauma. But I think also, like you were saying, it's like celebrating the wins and like the accomplishments, and like looking back at history and kind of seeing how, I mean, there still is a lot to do, a lot still left to do, but like seeing the steps that have been made, it's, I think that in itself is like celebrating our culture and celebrating just like how far we've come. Because I think sometimes, you know, focusing on all the trauma and all the bad things, like, I mean, it's important to acknowledge those, but to also kind of like look up and be appreciative also of like all the things that, you know, we are able to have within our culture and just as a group of people. It's like really inspiring.
One thing that I think I've noticed the most in just the past decade is the amount of like media representation. Like, I don't know if you have any comments on that specifically, but it's interesting to see, you know, watching like an early 2000s show versus now. Like, there's a lot more diversity just in general. But I feel like, I don't know, maybe this is a side tangent, but like seeing how maybe Netflix has their shows, right? And then there's also kind of like that tokenization, which is like the hardest part, where it's like, I could go into a deep dive about this, and I'm not going to, but it's like the tokenization of different people and just having them, and it's like, well, this isn't really like reflective of, I guess, like it's very superficial in that way. And yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but that's something, like, it's a good thing, but it's also, you know, you have to combat that as well, which is frustrating.
No, that's like definitely a frustrating thing with like, because I mean, it's been talked about for a while how like, okay, it was really cool at first, like, because Netflix was like casting Black actors, and then you see like a pattern of like, oh, like things like the paper bag test, like they're not really like passing that, and it's like there's no diversity in the Black actors that they're picking, which is like kind of frustrating in a sense. But I think that's like kind of the same thing of like acknowledging wins, but also there's always room to like grow and expand and like become better and do better. Especially when it comes to media.
Right.
But I also too, in keeping with the theme of like being appreciative for like what has been able to be shown in media, there's shows like Insecure, which is a show I really love, and it's like literally an all black cast, like all the main characters are black and varying like skin tones, all of it. It's like super dope to see, because I mean, I don't think if that were to be a show that would be pitched at in like any other time frame, I don't think that it would probably be like accepted as well. But I think because of the fact that like that is a part of black culture to me, as like getting to finally like engage in media that's like centered around blackness is so cool to me.
And what, I don't know what the paper bag, I've never heard of that. What can you, what is
so
that?
the paper bag test is like, you know, the color of like a lunch bag type situation. So it's like kind of like, have you guys heard of like what's it called, like the tissue test with your teeth?
No, I don't even know.
Is it actually white?
Oh, okay.
So kind of like that, but with like a paper bag.
Oh, gotcha.
But yeah.
Jeez, I've never heard of that. Is that like a recent term, or has that just been like?
I actually don't know. I think it's been around for like a couple years now, but yeah, it's like, it's definitely something that I like keep in mind when I'm like watching Netflix shows. I'm like, oh,
yeah,
there's not a lot of diversity. That's crazy.
That's
and then I guess I thought of these questions, I'm like, they're so repetitive. It's like what like artists have impacted your day-to-day life. I mean, I guess you did kind of explain, but is there any, I don't know, celebrities you look up to, or just people that you think are really good models, or even people at Western?
Honestly, I always am like so hesitant to say I like look up to a celebrity, because I'm like, it's girl, like, please don't do anything crazy. Yeah. Like, please.
That could all change.
No, literally. Actually, we're not getting into that. But anyways, I would say definitely, I mean, and keep like in talking about Insecure earlier, I like definitely keep up with Issa Rae a lot and the different things that she does, because
Barbie.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. I was like, wait, yes.
Yeah. Because she just does a lot for like black people. Like she puts so many black people on in the industry and like gives them chances that they wouldn't normally get because of like how just like racist the like industry is. And so like I always kind of keep up with what she's doing and how she's kind of like changing the game, because she's definitely been someone that I've seen that's been like, whoa, like you've really impacted Hollywood like a lot in your time in there. So that's been cool to see. But
did she create Insecure too?
Yeah, it was based off of like this web series that she had called Awkward Black Girl, and yeah, she got it pitched to HBO, I believe, and then they gave her like, oh, you can have like 3 shows or something like that. So she had Insecure, and then she had this, it just got canceled, but it was this show called Rap Shit, and it was so good. I liked it a lot, but I just canceled it. I was like, oh.
Dang.
But and then there was this other show, and it followed like black creators and entrepreneurs, and it was so cool. But yeah, she's definitely someone I always keep an eye out for to see like what she's doing next. Dang, suddenly my mind is like,
well, that's like, an interesting thing, because I was like, when we were talking about tokenism earlier, I was thinking of like where that line is between tokenism and like actual inclusion. And just, I think in the example of Issa Rae, it's like the creation is like also involved in the diversity of the HBO shows now, like with Insecure as an example. And I just think that's so cool. Like she's also the creative director and also like has control over the show. It's not just like a person that they placed in a show.
Yeah. And to see like, because it would be like one thing if it's like, okay, like in front of the cameras you have like black actors, but then it's like not the same behind the camera. But she's someone like behind the camera and in front, like you're gonna see a predominantly black crew, like producers, all of that, and it's so cool. Like, because I feel like, again, like that would have not really been a thing at all a few years ago. So
no, literally, I feel like in terms of media representation, that's also something I've noticed. There's a lot more people behind the camera actually doing the work to do that. Like the first example I can think of is actually, well, I don't know if this is the best one, but Killers of the Flower Moon, like with Martin Scorsese. Obviously he's a white man that directed it, but I was just doing a lot of like watching behind the scenes in that movie because I thought it was really good, and they had a lot of indigenous representation across the board, right? It's not just like my buzzword this month has been monolith, and I feel like in terms of even this podcast, like when I was coming into this, it's like there is so much more than just what people think something is, right? Like there's so much more than that. And we were talking about even just the interview questions or what I'm going to be doing on Thursday. It's just like someone can be so much more than just their skin color, obviously. Like that sounds so dumb, but I don't think a lot of people realize that. And that's why, you know, it's like trying to get to know people outside of just those things, right? And I think this month or the theme does a really good job of that. Not that they haven't done that in the past, obviously, but I like to see it. And I also thought the acronym was really smart.
I love a good acronym.
Yeah, it is good.
Yeah, some of the other questions that I have is who has helped you form your identity?
Dang, that's a thinker. I think a lot of people have honestly, I think, shaped who I was. Like I was kind of saying with like being a people pleaser, but I think more recently, I've been reading a lot. Like I love a good book. Like it's kind of corny, but like All About Love by Bell Hooks, so good. For you. And there's this other book that I've been reading. But I'm so bad at like finishing books. I'm not even gonna lie.
You're so easy to start.
No, it's so easy. Yeah. It's like, oh, I have to actually like read you consistently. But I feel like books have honestly recently shaped who I am. And also just like being creative, because I feel like a lot of discovering who you are as a person comes from kind of getting to a point where you can just creatively express yourself as well, because I feel like creativity and identity flow really well together. And I feel like, yeah, like in starting my business and being more into photography and like taking it more seriously, it's been like, this might be like corny, but like it's also like putting a lens on myself too, being like, what am I really into? Like, what do I like? Yeah. But outside of that, I would say like beforehand, like definitely my aunt for sure. And then my cousin, most definitely. She put me onto like a lot of just life things that I don't think I would have learned if she wouldn't have kind of like taken me under her wing and kind of shown me like, okay, like this is how things are, but like you have control in yourself and like what you can do and how you let things impact you, and kind of moving with the knowledge of that in my head has definitely like impacted like I think who I've become as a person, most definitely. And
if you could give one piece of advice to your younger self, what would it be? Because I feel like that goes one to well for like what you're talking about. Like we grow so much, especially in college, so it's like, what would you
even since the last podcast?
No, literally.
No.
Oh my god,
it's been a wild year. But I would that's a good one. I would have to say don't take things too seriously, because I feel like growing up I was always like really intense sometimes when it came to different things and being like, oh, like my life is over. Like, but it's like, girl, you're like 6. Like, I don't know about that. But yeah, just like not taking things seriously and just living life authentically, and like you said, like not taking like regret into account and like shame. Like obviously there are some things that maybe, you know,
bring back public shame.
Like there's sometimes shame is okay. Yeah. But I would say like just move how you want to move, but obviously like while taking into account other people and like being courteous, but just do what you gotta do and, you know, put yourself out there, because I feel like it can be really daunting to like want to do that and to also like do creative things and like put your work out there in that sense. But I don't know, I feel like just not taking life seriously, it's just so fun.
It's so
it
freeing.
Really is. No, it's just like I'm doing it for the plot.
Exactly.
This doesn't
strictly
exist
for the plot.
It'll be interesting. Whatever.
And what is the best piece of advice you've been given? And if you don't, I have one at the top of my head.
I'm like, you go first. 'Cause
okay.
I have to think about that.
No, because I mean, I don't know if you have one either. But one thing, and this is so dumb, but it was off like my friend's Snapchat story like several years ago when we were in high school, but it was something that her mom said to her. So I guess I don't know if I was given this piece of advice, but it was like I read it.
You took it. That's what matters.
But it was like, I think her mom was just like tell people you love them, like no matter what, like use the word love, like not like love bombing people, but like tell them that you love them, because you never know like the next time you're gonna be able to do that. And that stuck with me for a while. Outside of that, I can't think. I mean, I'm sure I've gotten like great advice, but I can't think.
It's
any.
like so like on the spot. I'm like,
yeah.
And you like internalize it so much too that it's like true. I can't remember a certain quote, but there's like a feeling, and I know someone told it to me.
You're like, I promise it's there.
Yeah, because I feel like the whole don't take things too serious. Like that's a big thing that I've been learning too, and like that's a really good piece of advice.
Yeah, I think now that I've had a second to think, I think the best piece of advice I've been given recently has been to not let like traumatic things or like bad things influence your vulnerability and openness to the world. Like, even though bad things may happen, like, still be soft, still be open, still be like willing to like accept people as they are, and to be understanding, and to I think humans are just very flawed individuals, and I think we forget that a lot of the time. So taking that into account, like, just be human. Like, everybody's human, everybody has emotions, and to not be nonchalant.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
And we're all just like soft little animals.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, we're all babies. Like,
I know.
Yeah.
Come on. Why are we so serious?
No,
exactly.
literally.
Why so serious?
We need to be filled with more childhood and whimsy and wonder.
Exactly.
I think that's what we need.
That's good advice right there.
Yeah. No. So, okay, one of these questions, it's going to sound like really like pointed. I don't know why. It's like, what keeps you alive? But like,
What keeps
I
you
guess
up at night?
like literally it was
Describe your last
like
nightmare.
I think this was like the last when I did the Humans of W, which you were a part of as well for that. I remember I asked someone like, what like gets you up in the morning or something, and it's like I don't think a lot of people are very intentional about thinking about that, because I'm like, oh, why do I get up? So like, I don't know, what keeps you alive maybe in this current moment.
I would say today what kept me alive was my space heater. Like, I don't know what it is, but recently, like, turning my lights on, turning on my space heater, I'm like, you know what? Life is worth living. But
It's a little thing.
no, literally, it's little things.
It's my fireplace most days.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Like, oh, you have a fire. Mine's
I
like
do.
boarded
And
up.
my apartment gets so cold overnight that like,
same.
and I'm always the first one to wake up. So every time I wake up, I have to like hightail it down to my fireplace and turn it on and just like get as close as possible to it.
That sounds so nice, though. That's how I feel with my space heater. I'm like, please warm me up.
Wait, why is your fireplace like boarded up? Or is that like I can't ask that?
I'm like,
You can't.
No,
if you know,
literally.
you know. I don't know. That's a good question. We should include my landlord on the next podcast.
Hey, Takia's landlord, come back to the
Hey,
podcast.
The landlord's podcast.
Because I have a fireplace in my apartment, but it's like blocked by the TV.
Nah.
Like, there's not a good place to
See,
do it.
the way our fireplace, the boarded up fireplace, is our TV stand.
Oh, no way.
It
Oh,
really
my
is.
God.
It's just there. I'm like, I guess. Yeah,
So
what do you
besides your space heater, what keeps you alive? Anything else?
think? I think being able to put good out into the world, and like being able to be a positive influence to people, whether like you know it or not. Like, there's someone that I knew, and I got to see them again recently, and they were like, you inspire me so much. And I was like, girl, what? I was like, what do you mean? I'm like literally 21, like, who am I inspiring? But like, I think like we don't take into account, like, damn, someone's literally like could be looking up at us, like, or looking up to us, like, at any point in time, or like see us as a role model or someone that like they admire. And I don't think I really realized that until that moment. But I think that keeps me alive, of like being able to kind of be that person to people, whether knowingly or unknowingly, and just getting to like exist. Honestly, I like really loved life.
Yeah, that's a good thing. I would hope you would love life.
I'm like, I actually hate life, guys.
Exactly. I remember, again, backing up to last year's podcast, which I'm like, wow, that was a year ago, and I remember like a good amount. It was either you or Yoni was talking about like Freddie Collins and his inspiration. Was it you or was it Yoni?
I think it was kind of both of us.
Okay.
We both had
Yeah. Because I thought like that was probably like the coolest thing I'd ever heard. Like, it was very powerful, right? Because isn't it like he did kind of the outreach to different high schools to kind of enlist like just Westerns. Was it like specifically Black students versus Western students, or kind of both? Or
I think it was, well, at least at my high school, it was like avid students, which I mean, the way it worked out at my high school, a lot of the avid students were like people of color, so it was really cool. But yeah, it's a crazy time.
Yeah,
like, a lot of people, I think, that were part of that like listening session that are just like talk to him actually did sign up to go to Western. I'm pretty sure.
yeah, because again, I don't remember if it was you or Yoni, but it was like Freddie said something about, you know, like, even though you might be like in the small minority here, a very small minority, like you can be that person that's there to be the trendsetter, I guess, or, you know, something like that. And I thought that was really cool, right? Because it's like, being that, like, even though it's really daunting, right? And then that could be a whole other conversation about kind of being an advocate and a trailblazer yourself, which can be super exhausting too, like having to educate people on that, especially at you know, PWI, it can be hard, but at least hearing like, you know, I've worked with Freddie like a couple of times in other contexts, but it's like that's really cool that he has been that like really cool crutch for people here, and I think that's awesome.
Definitely. And it's really cool to see like the new people that come in and are starting to become that crutch. Like I think Nia, the coordinator of the BSC, she's definitely like become a staple in the community where like people go to her for like advice or like just a chat. Like I like I finished one of my finals last quarter, and like I just happened to be in the BSC, and I just like knocked on her door and I was like, I just passed all my classes, like and we just like had like a cute little moment to celebrate. And I think having people that you could celebrate both your like big and like little wins with, whether that's like your friends or your coworkers, boss, like whoever it may be, like is so important, because I think a lot of times we get like so caught up in life that we forget like in the grand scheme of things, like a little win is like still a big win.
Oh, exactly.
Like,
exactly. You're not your fireplace. Your space heater. That's
a win.
Today. No, literally. It was 60 degrees outside today, though.
I know.
It's
I was
extra
like,
warm.
whoa, like winter. Where is she at?
Yeah, no, literally.
Just like, I don't have actual questions, but I'm just curious about like how your role has changed over the years. Because are you a senior now?
Yeah.
This year, like technically. But has your role in the BSC and the BSU sort of shifted as you've become one of the older members, and there's been like new people coming in, and I'm just curious how that's worked and how like you've responded to that.
Yeah. Honestly, I think just like the way that I came into BSU, it was kind of like a little bit of like being thrown in the fire, but like not in like a negative way. I think I definitely needed that, because it was like my first time on campus. I came like at a really awkward time, so it was kind of like I needed that push to kind of like really get into things and like get into planning and like becoming like, I guess, I don't want to sound like cocky, but like I feel like BSU is a staple in the community, and like so getting to be a part of that was like really cool. But I feel like as like I've kind of grown and changed, that my roles have also kind of like significantly been that's crazy. Significantly been impacted too, which is like really cool to see, because like even like I don't know, it just feels so nostalgic, like thinking back, like even last year, but like to my sophomore year, like I was so like quiet and like kept to myself. Like I wouldn't really like talk to people unless like I actually like was forced to like and like now it's just like I feel like I'm way more outgoing, and like I have the opportunity, which I feel like is really unique, and it's just really important to me. But like if I go to meetings and I see like someone like that, it's like, oh, like kind of keep to themselves, like quiet, like I'll make it a point to like kind of go talk to them and like check in and like at least like try to get to know them a little bit, because I don't know, I feel like it's kind of a switch from being the quiet person that doesn't really talk to like now I'm like very, I wouldn't say extroverted, but like just being able to like interact with people in like a very unique and different way. But
I love people like you. Because
me too.
because I'm like I would say I'm pretty extroverted, but you know, in terms where like you don't know anyone at all, and you're just kind of like, please someone talk to me so I can start talking.
Everyone
to you.
needs people like
that.
that.
Yeah.
In any room.
Yeah, exactly. And again, I remember Yoni being, I think he was like making fun of you or something last podcast. He was like, yeah, she was so quiet.
I was like, I literally would never talk. Like,
and now anytime like, because I think I've been up at the like with. What? Okay, yeah, jeez. I've been up at the ESC with you, and everyone's like, oh my god, hi, Taki. I'm like, I feel like I'm with a celebrity right now.
But honestly, even with that, like, that's, like, so cool to me, like, that I've gotten to kind of, like, grow up with these people, honestly. Like, it's so crazy, like, the people I knew sophomore year to, like, still be able to know them now and just, like, see, like, how we, like, all of us have kind of changed and grown into these student leaders and like grown into these roles is so cool. Because like if you would have told me my sophomore year, like, girl, you're gonna be president of like union, you're gonna be doing this, you're gonna be doing that, I've been like, hot, like funny, like would love to see that. But it's just so cool. Like I think the ESC is definitely like a huge family in the sense that like we're all there to kind of like support each other, and it really shows. Like there's people I've known for like a couple years now, which that is even crazy to say.
No, that's the one thing I realized about college. Like everyone feels so much more lonely because it's so hard to actually make connections over the years. Like because the way that you're describing that is a lot of how I feel about like us especially because we're like the same age, right? And like we're graduating at the same time, and we've been able to like grow with each other, which is crazy because I'm like,
and then everything else is like kind of like siphoned out. Because everything changes if you don't have those communities,
right? And so like being able to see people regularly is really nice in that way because then you can actually create a relationship with them, and then like you're just there to support each other, which is really cool. So yeah, I don't know if you have anyone to shout out the ESC or not, but
shouts out Hosanna, shouts out Deborah, shouts out ACC, shouts out BSU, shouts out to everybody. Honestly, shouts out to the entire ESC. Love y'all. But yeah.
And then okay, so this one is good. You have to tell me one thing that you like about yourself.
Ooh.
I know it's hard to like, you know. Yeah.
There's just so much.
Really narrow it down.
Literally. I would say in like talking about like how I used to be a people pleaser and I used to be quiet and blah blah. I think one thing I really like about myself these days is like my ability to be assertive, because I think like before, like if someone were to like kind of like say something and like they thought a different thing, I'll kind of just be like, oh yeah, like you're so right, and not really like kind of like a keep the peace type of person. But I think now like I'm more committed to like, okay, like it's completely okay if we don't agree, but like I think like it's important for both people to kind of like share their points and like be open about like how things affect them or how they feel about things. And I think assertiveness, like I feel like in women it's looked at as like, oh, she's bossy, or like she's this, she's that, but like assertiveness is just such like a good thing to have, because like in conflict resolution or like honestly anything, like sometimes you really just need to assert yourself. And I think of all the things I've learned in college, that'll definitely be something that's like really impactful in my adult life, and just life in general.
I feel like that's a big thing that a lot of people learn. I mean, maybe it's just say a lot because we're in the same
locked in.
Yeah.
You know what's funny about that, like, because I do that too, where I'm just like, oh yeah, you're right.
No,
I used to do it more, but I still like catch myself doing it sometimes. But that's like a lie. If you're just like, if someone says something that you disagree with and you're like, no, actually you're right. You're right. But like that's just like I'm doing harm because I'm lying. It's like I've never thought about it that way until literally you just said it.
Yeah.
And it's so strange because it feels like you're just like doing like the meek polite thing, but you're not. You're lying, and that's worse.
I watched a video once. It was TikTok. A while ago, and it was something like people who are people pleasers are actually like manipulative or something.
In a way.
Actually, that's kind of right, because kind of like what you were saying. Wait, what?
Are we telling on ourselves?
We're just manipulative people.
I'm like, guys, no, I'm not.
I'm working on it though, because I would say, I feel like being in like student leader positions, that's where you get to learn a lot of that, especially because you're working with your peers and you're meeting so many new people constantly.
Exactly.
And like obviously you're not going to agree with everyone and every little thing, so you have to be nice, but there's a way to be assertive and then also be nice at the same time.
Definitely.
You know,
something you got to figure out.
Yeah.
It's a
college,
process.
crazy
College.
What is one thing to keep yourself, like, how do you keep yourself grounded?
Ooh,
I think that works in well with that.
Yeah. I think one way I really stay grounded is like, I just like love just kind of like getting away from the world and just like taking time to just like be like, damn, I'm really in this bitch. The other day, like it was just like a really like overwhelming night the night before, and like my friends and I, we just, because I'd never like done Chuck and Nut Drive all the way, and so we literally like did the entire drive, like did some pit stops along the way and just like looked at the views, and that was like genuinely like so grounding and like kind of, I feel like it was like a brain reset, like a factory reset, like my entire body, because I was just like, whoa, like I just feel so much more like centered and back to myself. But I feel like I always try to kind of like just get away from things, like pop in a few AirPods, go for a walk, or like I've been playing a lot of basketball recently.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
basketball. Yes.
Me and Tim were on
Watch Taki and Tim on the courts.
The next podcast is gonna be 1-on-1. We're just gonna set up a hoop.
That would be so iconic. I'm like, I would be down. But yeah, I feel like basketball has always been like a grounding thing. But it's like I've rediscovered it recently, and that's been like really nice for me.
That's fun, like rediscovering things in your childhood. Like I remember we were talking about this a couple days ago. Like I want to play horse.
No, I'm like,
was I talking to you about that too?
No,
like I don't know.
Yes.
I was like, I want to play horse.
Yeah,
because like I haven't played that in forever.
Because even stuff like that, I feel like honestly, for me, like grounding stuff And like looking back, like all the stuff I used to do as a kid are literally like they're the same thing.
Yeah.
Like I'll literally like go for like a bike ride or something. I'll be like, wait, I kind of ate like, a little bit.
This is awesome.
No, literally.
No, that's the thing. I feel like that's the one thing about like growing up. It's like, dang, like yeah, I want to do all these things as a kid. Like
You
I'm
had it
trying
right.
I'm trying to think of other things
You
that
had
I've
it so
done.
good.
Yeah, without
Just like looking for bugs. You ever
Yeah.
look for bugs?
yeah.
That's awesome.
I
I'd
would
spend like the whole day just like flipping over rocks and then like picking them up and looking at them, putting them back.
Bro, that reminds me of like I was riding my bike one time as a kid and I ran over a worm and I had like a whole funeral for it. I was like sobbing. I was like, no.
I was about to say something really bad.
Do it.
Okay.
Hot takes round 2.
No, I guess this kind of is
Okay.
because as a kid, I would like look for daddy long legs underneath my deck, and I would like pull the legs off the deck.
That's so
No,
Not a hot
like
take, that's just creepy.
like, it's actually like no, because I don't know how we got into this part. I thought everyone did that. I'm not even kidding.
like, oh, this is a me thing.
Like, oh,
It's like
oh,
you had a
that's
funeral
not.
for a worm.
No, 'cause
you were just doing
Yeah.
that on purpose.
But
Yeah.
honestly, spiders scare me so bad. So you know what? I can't even be mad. I'm like, you know what? One less spider,
No,
low key.
No, exactly. I'm just like, wow, okay, I guess I am a freak. As a kid, I don't do that now. So,
Or do you? I'm like,
listen,
hey, I won't judge.
no.
It's just science experiment.
Okay, but did you ever salt slugs too, though? I did that. Okay.
No, you're drying them out.
No,
That's
it was the kids in my neighborhood because they did it.
Okay.
I just watched it. Well,
An
yeah.
innocent bystander. A not so innocent.
No, exactly. Oh my god. Anyways, outside of me being psychotic,
So Dahmer coded.
I know. Yeah. How do you clear your mind at the end of the day?
Honestly, I think I clear my mind at the end of the day. Like, again, that space heater's been doing me so good. But like recently, I'll like go to the gym, I'll like play a couple games of like pick up basketball, come home, and then before I get in the shower, I turn on my space heater so that when I get back into my room,
yeah.
and then I'll put on like my LEDs and I'll put them on like pink, and then I'll like light a candle and like I don't know, I just like romanticize the end of my
No,
night.
that's good. That's a good
lovely.
thing. Yeah.
That sounds
And I
so
was just
nice.
like, I was telling my friend last night, I was like, yeah, bro, like after I like shower and like I like get dressed for bed and stuff, I like will literally just like rub my feet together in bed because I'm like, bro, I'm like, this is the life. Like I don't know.
I do the same thing.
I'm like, wait,
Whoa.
Like a little cricket or something.
Oh my god.
I'm just like, oh, this is like really nice.
Abby, if you've never done that, you gotta try
No,
it.
okay.
It's life
So-
changing.
Well, wait. Okay, with socks on or without?
Without socks.
Oh,
Oh,
Do you wear socks to bed?
No, okay,
Okay,
no,
I was
no,
like,
I don't.
If
that's a hot
if
take.
if you have like fuzzy socks on or something.
No.
Oh, I'm a big advocate for fuzzy
I
socks.
am
No,
too.
literally.
I am too.
Or like, but the fuzzy socks with the little like grippy things on the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
I kind of like those. I don't know
I
if
wear
that's
those
a hot
as
take,
shoes.
but
Yeah,
All right, so when I'm in bed tonight, I'm gonna think about that.
yeah.
do
Then
it.
report back.
Like,
Be like,
it's
amazing.
like when you first get in the covers, like, and
Okay.
it's like,
Oh yeah, yeah.
this
Like
is
especially
so.
taking after a shower. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
I just
Yeah.
think
It's like the little like
No, it's
shimmy
like-
you do with your
Yeah.
fingers, too. It's just really getting settled in.
I just think of that one scene from Shrek with Rumpelstiltskin. You
Feet.
guys know that?
Not
Bro,
sure.
are you talking about the feet?
He's literally like curling his toes.
Honestly, like me too. Like, I'll
Curl your toes.
No.
It's
Oh my
nice.
curl your toes, rub the feet together. I promise
Exactly.
you, best sleep of your life.
Maybe I should get like silk sheets because like doing that on that sounds like the life.
Mhm. That's luxury.
I'm gonna start doing that. I don't have LEDs, but I'll just like
Dude,
turn on my.
I'll like
lamp.
send you like an Amazon link of like these. They're like so cheap, but like you can like change them on your phone, and it's literally like,
Oh, that's nice.
I used
So-
to have one of those. I lost it in a move.
damn.
Dang.
And
Are they just like stuck on one color or something? Or can
no,
you
no,
even turn
I
them on?
lost the strip. I don't know.
Damn.
Now I just like have overhead lights, which sucks.
Yeah.
But like going from the colored lighting where you can just flip it to whatever your mood has in store to just like the overhead yellow light, such a downgrade. And my life feels way less. It's less like it's a coming of age movie.
Literally,
It does.
feel
Less
like-
romanticized.
not as
No, true.
romantic.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just like the themes. They're not as deep.
Yeah.
If I'm sad, I don't have blue lights.
Okay.
It's so
If
bad.
I'm happy, where's
Yeah.
the green light?
No.
Like,
Exactly.
Such
yeah.
a cool take that I have is just ambiance lighting. It's great. I
So
mean,
worth
not.
it.
I don't think anyone disagrees with that. Like,
Yeah.
I hate overhead lighting so much.
That's a
It's so,
popular
like,
take.
Yeah, I'm like, it's so just...
Freezing cold
Yeah,
take.
it's-
No. but
Whoa.
no.
Okay.
It's like a lukewarm take because it's right.
Lukewarm. So I have a few more questions. Where do you feel like you flourish in
Ooh.
life?
Honestly, I feel like I flourish when I'm like, because like how we were talking about, like I kind of like to capture people when they're like locked in. I feel like for me, when I'm locked in, it's definitely like when I'm doing like photography or like if I'm like doing like some graphic design stuff, unless I'm like really just like antsy and like I can't sit down. But yeah, definitely photography though, because I feel like I can literally take pictures for like multiple hours and like not look at my phone once and just like walk around a neighborhood. Like I would do that a lot in the summer. I would just kind of like leave my phone in the car and like leave my car in like a random spot and like it would be like a cute little, will I find my car? Will I not?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, because your phone's in there.
But yeah, I would just like take walks and just like take pictures of like Bellingham in the summer, because Bellingham in the summer, so beautiful.
It hits. And then are you going to be the photographer for the Throwback Thursday thing that's happening? Or like any other like Black History Month events? Because I know, sorry, this is also, I know you spoke recently at, it was like MLK Day, right?
Yeah.
At one of the high schools, Seaholm High School or something like that. How did that go?
That one's so good, actually.
good.
I was like really like, I feel like the more with public speaking, like the more you do it, the more like comfortable you become. And especially with like doing BSU, I've done like a lot of public speaking. So I mean, I was definitely still nervous going into it, but like I had the opportunity to like kind of settle into it well. And like, I don't know, I also realized as like I've kind of progressed within my major and also just like gotten to do more public speaking, that when I have to be professional, I get like more nervous and more anxious because like, okay, that's not me.
Right.
Versus like, I've honestly just been being like really silly goofy every time like I touch a microphone recently. And I feel like it's just so much more fun because it's like, okay, like I know like as an audience member, like when I have to hear people just be like, well, today we're like, it's kind of like, all right, like can
That
we
makes
like,
it worse for everybody.
yeah. And like, I think I just like look at it as like, okay, what would I appreciate as an audience member? And like, just take it so unseriously because
don't take things seriously.
Exactly. But yeah, it was really fun and like it was really cool to see like the keynote speakers and just hear their perspectives because I don't know, I think the way that event was set up and like just kind of getting to hear two people just like have a conversation really just about Blackness and about MLK Day and like what that means to them and like just the importance of all of it was so dope. So yeah, it went really good, I would say.
You're on like the official Western Instagram, I think, too, right? You can go check that out.
They kind of did me dirty with one of those pictures. Though. I was like, dang, guys, like we can't like keep that one in the drafts. But
you DM'd that. Okay.
Can we delete that one? But yeah, no, I was like, oh.
They should always
cool.
send it first to get the okay.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I saw them the same time everyone else did, and I was like, oh, this is so cool, but also, oh.
No, because it seemed like you were talking to a big crowd of people, too. It was like, dang, good for you.
It was a lot. And because, like, when I get excited and also, like, when I get anxious, I talk really fast. And so I was literally, like, standing at the podium. And I was like, girl, pace yourself. Like, please. But I think, like, it ended up going.
That's good.
It was a cute time.
Yeah. And I kind of meshed these questions into each other, but are you going to be the photographer for the Throwback Thursday? This one? Awesome.
Yeah, we're still kind of, like, working out, like, more concrete details on it. But, yeah, so, like, you're going to be doing our Humans of Black Student Union. And then, yeah, we're doing a throwback photo shoot. So, yeah, I think I'm going to bring my camera and, yeah, get the opportunity to do that, which is so sick.
And then this kind of goes hand in hand with each other, but, like, I know there's going to be so many different events this upcoming month. And then are you going to be taking any photos for those, or just if you want to plug the different events that are also happening, too?
Yeah, I don't think I'll like be taking any like photos with my camera or anything. I'm sure I'll like snap some phone photos or something like that. But we're planning a bowling event.
Ooh.
Cause yeah, so we have the first event on the first day of Black History Month, so that's the throwback meeting, and then after that, we have a bowling event. I think we're gonna do that on a Saturday because of like lane stuff. And then that same week, I think on Tuesday, or I'm pretty sure on Tuesday, there's gonna be like an open mic night thing. We're also planning a dance, I believe, at the end of Black History Month. I think that's gonna be the 23rd.
Is it kind of like the Legacy Ball thing again, or is it gonna be different?
Different.
Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're not having Legacy Ball this year, but it's gonna be, I mean, we're also still kind of in the works of planning that, but it's definitely gonna be like same vibe, just a fun time to kind of like come dance, exist, which I feel like is much needed, especially with winter quarter and just like there's a
we
lot.
talked about that last year too, where it's like the lull of just winter quarter in general, so it's a good pick me up.
Especially just like, I don't know, dancing and just like having a good time is just, I feel like we don't get a lot of that. Like I feel like in high school,
enough. Not enough.
No, literally, because like I feel like high school, it's like, okay, you have like a dance like every quarter that you can kind of be like, okay, this like I keep this in mind. But like here, it's like, or like in college in general, it's like, damn, I have to like go out or like go do something to like dance.
Yeah. And then for those events, well, I guess it might depend on which event it is. But are they open to the public, or like I guess who are they for? Because I know some people might be like, you know, hesitant to go.
I mean the same with like BSU and the BSC and all of that. Like it centers like Black people and like African American individuals, but like also just like everyone is welcome, like allies. Like if you're interested in going, I would definitely like recommend going, because I mean it's not often that we get to kind of like, well, I mean, I guess it is like a yearly thing when we have like Black History Month, but I would say it's definitely unique this year in the sense that it's like predominantly planned by clubs. Yeah, a lot of our events. So yeah, I would highly recommend going. We're planning like so much cool stuff and putting a lot of work into it, and would love to see everybody. So yeah.
And then for the last question, which ties in well, is how can people support its Black community on campus and just in general as well? Because I know, again, there's a lot of people not knowing, like, you know, where they can, I guess, support, or like they don't want to speak over voices, obviously, because I know that's also just been an issue too. And yeah, how can people support its Black community?
I would say like definitely like uplifting like Black voices, and like even if like something as like simple as like, oh, like reposting a BSU meeting, because it's like, okay, like if you yourself aren't Black, like maybe there's someone that follows you that goes to Western and is like, oh, I didn't even know that there was a BSU, or I didn't know there was an ACC or whatever BSC club it might be, and they'll like feel kind of like, oh, like maybe I'll go check this out. So definitely that, like sharing us and like supporting us. And then same with like the BSC, like I think it's not talked about enough like as a space, because I mean people know about it, and there's definitely like way more people that go in it this year as opposed to last year, which that's been another really cool change to see. But just talking about that more, and then also education, that's something I'll always say is like a huge way to support the Black community no matter where you are. Is like staying educated and up to date with like kind of what's might be going on, or like ways that you can be an ally and support, because it never hurts to kind of just like have that in your mind, and I think if anything it's like does the world good to kind of be aware of like various things that might be going on. So
and then I just thought of one more question, like if you were to give advice, or like if someone was interested in coming to the BSU, or maybe like incoming freshmen that might feel a little bit like, oh, like I don't know anyone, like what would you say to them?
I would say, and going back to our advice earlier, I'd say like don't take it too seriously. Like honestly, like I know it's like easier said than done in a lot of ways, but I think to even show up, like honestly, even if you just show up and like I said, like you just kind of like sit by yourself, like I'm sure there will be someone that'll like include you and like talk to you and like be interested in getting to know you, because honestly there's not a lot of us on this campus. So like even for me, when I see like someone I don't usually see that's like Black or like just POC in general, I'll be like, so why don't you come to BSU? And that's kind of like my conversation starter with people. But yeah, like definitely please do come. Like if there's any way, any good way to like meet community, like take it from someone who literally met their entire community through going like BSU and all these different events, like it's definitely worth it. Like the risk and the reward, like the reward's way bigger.
Right, it's just the fact of just getting there, and then it's history, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then in terms of like Instagram plugs, the room number plugs, plug anything you want. Okay, so let's see here. BSU, we meet bi-weekly now, Thursdays at 6 p.m., but it can change depending on the type of an event we have. So you can follow us on BSUWW on Instagram. And we also have TikTok. I'm pretty sure it's like... Oh, yeah, you do.
Yeah, we definitely do. www.bsu on TikTok. We have a Twitter, but honestly, that's so like dormant. I'm not gonna lie to you. So like if you find it and you really want to, like feel free to follow us on Twitter. There's also like a prehistoric Facebook, but again, that's like lost in the sauce.
Same here, yeah.
But yeah, and then Black Student Coalition. There's Instagram, WW B.S.C. And also on TikTok, same username, I'm pretty sure. ACC. I think it's just WWACC. So follow them on Instagram too. Follow all our Black student clubs. Like we have NESB, which I think is, not to like keep with the same theme, but like WWNESBE on Instagram. And then we also have an inactive club. So like if people are looking to fill a club board or are interested, we had a club it's called Black Women's Revolution, and they currently have no board members, but we definitely want it to be like a part of the BSC again. So yeah. And yeah, I think that's all I could think of. Oh, and also, I'm like, follow my business on Instagram.
Yeah, plug yourself.
Yeah. At Real Shit Collective, minus the I, because Instagram, I don't know. I guess I could have put that in the Instagram, but anyways, yeah, follow follow that.
Why not?
Sweet. Yes, and then I guess the last plug too is like, it's they can see my computer, but like every information for specifically Western events, it's just www.edu Black History Month, and that has like all the information and all the different events, because I know that like in the upcoming weeks they have a good amount of lunch and learns that I'm going to be going to, and I'm really excited for those because I think again like education, like it'll be really fulfilling. So for people that want to go to any of these kinds of events, they'll be on Western's website, and I'm assuming y'all will post about them too, right?
Yeah, more than likely. And there will also be food, so if that education and food go together well, I would say definitely
that
come.
is very true. Get a free meal.
Exactly.
And learn, educate yourself. Exactly. All right, well, I think that is the end, unless you have any questions or anything you want to say. But thank you so much for coming on for the second time, Takia. I think you're the first person we've had like a second time.
Oh my God, recurring guest.
No, exactly. Third time's a charm.
What is God?
We're a basketball podcast.
Basketball podcast. I love that idea.
We should.
All right. Well, I'm so bad at outros. Tim,
all
you
right,
gotta take it away.
That was the Tripping on Bricks podcast.
Tripping on Bricks.
Yes, that's the name of the podcast.
That's the name of our podcast.
And thanks for watching.
Yeah.
Or listening.
Follow
us on everything. We're Wavelength.
Follow Takia.
Follow everything
Personal
Takia said.
I'm like, no, I'm playing.
All right.
And see you next time.
Yeah, next time. Basketball.
Or something.
Trying up it in the morning.
You want to do it? Ready? Okay.
Where are we looking?
We're singing.
The Troy and up. Yeah. Look at number 2.
2? Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Troy and Abed in the morning.
And cut. Wavelength is a program of the Associated Students of Western Washington University, and we'd like to thank WWU's Digital Media Center for production support, as well as our music composer, Austin Colwell from Harbor Day. You can find a link to Austin's music in the episode description below.